Well, the city of Toronto has become a major player on the world stage of big cities, but as it grows, we have seen growing pains. And perhaps the most talked about tension is the high price of housing. Solving the supply challenge as the population rises has led to plenty of debate, sometimes light on solutions. If left unsolved, will it impact the city as being an attractive place to live and work? Well-known urban planner Richard Florida has been thinking a lot about these issues. He is a professor at the University of Toronto School of Cities and the Rotman School of Management, as well as the founder of the Creative Class Group. Richard, thanks very much for being with us. We appreciate the time.
Great being with you.
When do you think the conversation, if it did shifted from the idea of Canada growing in size and awareness worldwide and becoming a world-class city to one where now we're talking increasingly about some of these tensions of a larger city?
Well, I think it certainly happened before the COVID pandemic. I would say 2015, roughly. And that's when we began to see, I shouldn't say began to see, cities in New York and London and Hong Kong have always been super expensive. I think we began to note that Toronto was becoming super expensive, and also Vancouver, even more so, certainly by 2010, 2015. And what's happened since COVID, I think, if you look around the world, a whole bunch of other cities, these kind of third-tier cities like the Austin, Texas, or Miami, which has grown stupendously, or Nashville. So I think there is this just general growing recognition that as our economy has boomed, the world economy has boomed, North American economy has grown, housing has become a big potential constraint on growth.
And what are the ramifications of that as you see them?
Well, first, I just want to say something for folks listening in, which I think is the great irony of 21st century capitalism. We are the most innovative and productive, highest rates of GDP, economic output, and economic output per capita. The U.S. in particular is just booming. Yet almost all of that innovativeness and productivity, it doesn't go into much else other than the cost of land. So what happens is, because we haven't figured this out, because we haven't built enough, our incredible productive energies of our economy just goes right back to it's not the cost of building. Yes, that's gone up. It's the cost of land. And I just think that's the great irony of our time. We're the most productive we ever were. And instead of using that money to greater human capital, more education, better medical care, and of course we do some of that, higher quality of life, it goes mainly into the cost of land. What do we need to do? We need to build more. In Canada, I think we just need to build more cities. I mean, it's always struck me as an American living in Canada, the U.S. has 350 metropolitan areas, and it probably has 50 cities over 1 million, metropolitan areas over 1 million. Probably has 20 or 25 great cities. Canada arguably has 2 or 3. I think Canada has to get about not only making Toronto more, building more, we have to build more and better cities.
And then I guess on the talent front, let's say you're born and raised in Toronto, or you're somebody who comes to the city because you see the opportunity, and then you get here, and on the productivity front, as you mentioned, you're spending even a lot of your own mental energy or your human capital towards specifically where you live and how that costs. What does that mean in terms of where talent goes? I mean, people.
Well, I can tell you firsthand. I mean, I've taught at the Rotman School of Management for 15, 16 years now. I teach MBA students and undergraduates who are unbelievably brilliant in our commerce program, our undergraduate business program. 90% of those kids, and they come from all over the world. They come from Europe, they come from Latin America, they come from the States, they come from the Middle East. 90% of those kids wanted to stay in Toronto when I came. Now maybe half do. And when you talk to them, it's really about their inability to even imagine owning a home. When you ask them, and I ask them, they're great kids. Guys, what do you think? What do you think you need to do? And some say, well, you have to be fabulously successful. But most of them give a rather glib answer. We're not going to get a home in Toronto unless we have the bank of mom and dad to depend on. And so, I think that many young, talented people, and I think it's not like they're going many other places in Canada. Yes, I've heard about the move to Alberta, the move to, Manitoba and all of this. Mostly these talented kids are going out of the country.
Now, just on that subject of supply and tackling it, Richard, as someone who's observed cities around the world, there can be a lot of coordination. There can also be a lot of finger pointing, because when we're talking about something like housing, it involves the whole team working together. What are the best things that could help solve that when it comes to supply?
Well, for a place like Toronto, that's now the metropolitan area is 6.5, growing to 7 million people. It gets very hard to grow anymore by building out in the suburban frontier. Yes, we can build more, and yes, we can do more development out there. But, big cities, whether you're talking about London or Hong Kong or Tokyo or New York, have to build up. And I think one of the big constraints we have in Toronto is we built a lot of condos, but those condos are for single people or young couples or maybe empty nesters. We still haven't figured out how to build a family-friendly city of condos and apartments. And, I just went through this big survey that we looked at 90 downtowns around the world. And when you look at downtown Toronto, yeah, there's lots of things we need to do. We need more fun and we need more entertainment. But where it really lagged is a place to have kids and raise a family. It was at the bottom of the barrel globally. I mean, it was even behind some U.S. downtowns with crime and violence and poor education systems. We've just got to do better in Toronto at building multifamily housing that's family friendly, bigger courtyards, more game rooms, more playrooms, just a better tolerance for families, or else, not everyone's going to be able to afford a single family home in an area that's close to the city center.
Some food